to be able to walk into a room and notice there's a problem without being explicit is part of taking ownership of yourself and knowing what you're capable of doing. And that lies in taking ownership of your own education. And I think that started the day I walked on campus.
CAS schools were started at a time where there was a big conversation happening in our city around the skills gap. There was the Talent Pipeline Task Force that showed that there were certain critical industries in our city that were unable to find skilled workers. So that would have been like tech, health, bioscience, engineering, manufacturing. And so a committee was formed specifically for the formation of CAST, which included business leaders, civic leaders, education leaders, and workforce leaders. And we actually traveled all around the country kind of studying this idea of what would it look like to create experiential learning or access to high quality apprentice style learning at a younger age so that students could sort of kick the tires and be exposed to these fields, but also have kind of a very intentional staircase into some of these jobs should they so choose.
The approach that was different in forming CAST was that a lot of times you might have a program developed within an individual district, a pathway, or even a school. And a lot of times the school would be constructed by the educational experts, the program would be designed, and then they might go to industry and say, okay, folks, now we need you to provide some experiential learning opportunities in the form of mentorships, internships, guest speakers, but they didn't involve them in the design process of the school to get them their voices heard early on. And I think that's really what's different about CAST. And it's really the reason why the industry partners continue to be very involved and engaged to this day, because they have a sense of ownership about the CAST schools because they helped to design them.
I don't know of any other high school where the community feels like they built the high school. We're used to, a big top-down bond initiative. School district says we need another high school because this neighborhood's growing, boom, we build it. This was not like that. This was the community holding up its hand saying we need this. A private investor and philanthropist in both corporately, HEB and Charles Budd as an individual, and his resources along with others making it happen. You have a sense of pride and personal connection, member by member by member across Tech Bloc, and a love for this high school that I think is really, really unique.
When we envisioned this school, we wanted to be where the action was happening. And so I'm so excited that it's at Fox Tech in downtown, a few blocks away from the tech district, so that our children have access to job shadowing and internship opportunities. When you look at the fact that our children that are coming into CAST Tech, they're not tested in. They accept any child, it's all through lottery. It's really children that are interested in the technology industry or an industry that supports technology. And it's students from all over the city, from all over the county.
Honestly, in the beginning, I was completely shut down. I didn't want to try and be the new girl again, because me growing up as a military brat, I've been the new girl every few years. San Antonio honestly feels the most home to me out of all the places I've been to growing up. And I want to say it's because of the community that CAST Tech built. From the second they opened their doors, they welcomed us with open arms. They told us that we could be whatever we wanted to be. They just wanted us to feel like this was our second home.
The importance of student voice and agency is actually a critical part of their education. That's what keeps them interested in school. That's what makes them feel like they're part of the school and that they matter. One example of that would be the development of our user experience pathway. That actually came after our inaugural year, with students doing research in the classrooms when we thought we were going to provide graphic design. But when they saw UX, UI, and what that was about, they're like, wait a minute, why aren't we doing that here?
We are putting the decision-making into the hands of young people so that when they leave us, they're capable adults. They can make all kinds of decisions. And this is a real flip from how sort of traditional education is done. I think that is our biggest form of quality control also, because if you really want to know what's working in a school, ask the young people.
CAS is interesting because you're growing your personal self while you're growing your career. You're making hiccups along the way, but part of life is to take ownership of your mistakes and of your accomplishments.
One thing that makes Cass Tech so unique is our partnerships with the different businesses in the area. It was one of the things that drew me to coming here, is to be able to have that voice from the people who we're going to send our students out into the workforce with. We talk to them sometimes and just to get ideas of how is the math that I'm teaching used in their workforce. And it really builds on the student agency as far as wanting to work and wanting to learn the material that I'm teaching.
One of the most powerful experience or interactions I've ever had with a student was a young lady that very first year. And this was a student who, was struggling on a lot of fronts before she got to the CAS goal. And the principal, Melissa Akala, was going above and beyond to make sure she had everything from clothing and food and all sorts of things. And I remember her saying, this place makes me feel important. And I've never felt important before. And wow, what an amazing thing. Because what's most important for a student to be able to realize their fullest potential is a belief in themselves and that confidence that yes, you are important and you matter.
In our country, there's a lot of different types of schools, private schools, independent schools, charter schools. They all have value, but we wanted to have the maximum impact, and we felt like partnering with public school districts that serve the majority of children and are really a foundational democratic institution would have the greatest community impact. We now have 5 schools. Cass Tech serves the tech industry as well as business. Cass STEM is an engineering high school with pathways in manufacturing, energy, and logistics. Cass Med High School prepares students for medicine, public health, and biomedical research. Cass Lead High School trains leaders in hospitality, retail, and e-commerce. And the Pre-K through 12 Advanced Learning Academy joined our network because of a shared set of values around learning focused on real-world problem solving.
Cass Tech offered real-world learning. This school introduced us to the business world. They wanted us to be realistic with the things that we wanted to do. They gave us certifications and so many opportunities to help us build connections with people that could help us in the future. And that's something that I didn't think a school would be able to do for me.
Graduating as an inaugural class means you turned someone's idea, someone's vision into reality. And I think the next couple of years is when you'll really start to see the vision that our founders, our shareholders, or our network are really gonna see the fruits of their labor.
Welcome to our Cass Schools Champion Ceremony. We are live from the HEB Learning Staircase at Cass Tech High School to thank our many partners who have made our schools possible. My name is Tamara TJ Jackson. I am the proud member of the first graduating class from Cass Tech. 4 years ago, me and my fellow classmates took a bold step coming here, and we can all say without a doubt that this school has changed our lives for the better. I hope that today, as we honor our 6 champions, you'll see how our schools were built by our community and why this school is my family. To introduce our first Cass champion, please welcome Gabriel Sanchez from Cass Med High School.
Good evening and thank you. Our foundation was built on the idea of partnering with public schools. The Cass schools are 5 different schools in 3 different districts: East Central ISD, Southwest ISD, and San Antonio ISD. The Cass Network's 6th school, Cass Teach, will be open in August 2022 in Northside ISD. Oh, my goodness. We would like to start today by welcoming San Antonio ISD Superintendent, Mr. Pedro Martinez. Mr. Martinez, why were you one of the first few superintendents to believe in this Cass Schools?
Good evening, everyone. So first of all, I just gotta brag a little bit. I am just so proud of the first graduating class of Cass, Texas. So if you guys haven't seen the college, where the colleges are going, I feel like a proud father. I gotta tell you, because it was about 5 years ago that when we were talking about this concept, that actually we came here with Kate Rogers and a few others to walk through these two buildings. So just so you understand, I don't know, any Fox Tech alumni here in the audience? Fox Tech alumni? All right, so if you had a Fox Tech alumni, they would tell you that these two buildings were where we had our wood shops, our metal shops, and I think our auto shops. So Fox Tech was always known as a high school. One of our oldest high schools had traditional vocational ed programs, good programs, but these two buildings where the programs were at. And over the years, we hadn't used the buildings. So you came in here, there was no air conditioning. By the way, it was in the summer. So imagine 100-degree weather, no air conditioning in here. We used it for storage. There was a lot of walls. So those walls, they're no longer here, but there was walls everywhere. And I just remember thinking, wow, this could be the new tech where the old tech used to be. And the reason we were one of the first to really to do this is, for us, it just met so many different things that we wanted. So number one, it's a collaborative partnership. It is bringing multiple stakeholders to the table between our private sector. In fact, in one of the industries that's one of the fastest growing in San Antonio, which is technology. It was a conversation that I had with multiple technology leaders when I would ask them, whether it was Oracle or Google, multiple technology companies. I would say, tell me how many people you're hiring. And they would say, we're going to hire, X amount, 100 people. And then my first question is, how many are from San Antonio? And they look at me and say, no, like here from San Antonio. And I get like 8, 10. And I said, why? And they're like, well, it just, the people that we're getting are from, some of them are from Dallas, some of them are from Houston, but they're also from all over the country. And I said, there's something wrong with that. And in fact, one of the theories that I created, I said, the reason we're growing as a city so far is because we're importing all this labor. And that's great, but what about the children that are here? What about the talent that's already here? So hence, the conversation evolved to, what if we created a school, instead of talking about it, and I see multiple partners here that were part of this conversation, and we said, what if we created a school that was part of the solution? Because let's face it, folks, there's always conversations, but there's nothing like action. Hence came the vision for this school. And for me, the fact that students drive so much of what happens here. Our teachers are empowered. I mean, the fact that they work with our amazing partners who are individuals right now in the industry of technology. They're shaping the curriculum. So it's not just algebra, but it's algebra through the lens of this industry, and how do we make it relevant for the students? It's not just biology, but it's biology through the lens of this industry. And so for me, knowing that that's what we were building, I could not wait to do a concept like this. It is still our school. It is, we're accountable for it. We're accountable. We're accountable for the enrollment, the accountability. But we have an amazing partnership that is really a collective effort across, really, leaders from across the city. Judge Wolff was one of our biggest supporters right from the beginning. The mayor was a big supporter. I see Graham, I see David from Tech. I mean, it was a collective effort. And for me, I'll tell you, if we could reinvent schools all over again, this is the way I would do it. And then at the end, to see the first graduating class with these kind of results, like I said, I feel like a proud father. That's what I really feel. So that is mine.
A few parting words for you. For one, thank you for just being our champion and forever supporting the Cass schools. I have had opportunities that I never thought would be imaginable through Cass, the network. And I just thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Superintendent Martinez. Now please welcome Samuel Rosario from Cass Tech High School.
Good afternoon. My name is Samuel Rosario, and I am a senior here at Cass Tech High School. Working with industry provides us with the opportunity to gain authentic learning experiences, to connect to jobs, and have hands-on learning in fields that are fast changing. David Hurd here is the CEO of Tech Bloc, and he was among those who first advocated for the creation of Cass Tech High School. So I asked you this question. Why was building a high-tech high school downtown a critical need for the technology industry?
Thank you, Samuel. Thank you for everyone here and tuning in, and for everyone who made this high school possible. I'll answer on behalf of leaders like Graham Weston, who have built tech companies that started in a garage with 3 people and grew to be massive publicly traded technology leaders. Talent is the number one lifeblood, the number one driver of the growth of the tech scene. We do have entities in town that recruit tech companies and tech jobs to our city. That's very important. But what we hear time and time again from these employers, and these are good paying jobs, these are the kinds of opportunities we want to bring more of to San Antonio from an employment standpoint. They say time and time again, we go where the talent is. And to Superintendent Pedro Martinez's point, there's a lot of effort we do to recruit from the outside. But if we're going to solve this problem, it's really going to come from within. And we have an incredible population that is capable, if provided the right on-ramp into tech. I think we have populations in our town, and I don't blame them, who view tech as an industry that's for other people in other cities. They haven't felt like they had an opportunity maybe, or even the aspiration to be in tech. Coding, doing web development, whatever it might be. The reality is we have everything we need right here in San Antonio if we can provide the educational opportunity. The other piece was, it was important to Tech Bloc. When you go back to creating the high school, Kate Rogers and Gene Russell, there's a lot of people that helped make this happen, but Kate Rogers and Gene Russell, they're the ones that really made this happen. The rest of us tried to support them. And one of the things that we said early on, and they agreed, was too often in this city, we have the right ideas, but we build them in the wrong places. So what was really important to Tech Bloc and people like Graham is if we're clustering companies and coding academies and places to enjoy life for the tech community downtown, we need to have the energy that students and backpacks provide, not just at the college level through UTSA downtown, but at the high school level. So the idea was, if we're going to do this high school, let's do it downtown. And they never blinked. By the way, downtown is about the hardest place to do it. Every other part of town's easier. So it took a lot of work. We toured a lot of buildings, Gene, right, back in the day. And thanks to SAISD, we found a home here. So anyway, hugely important to the tech industry, and we're here every step of the way to support you guys, and congratulations.
So, Mr. Hurd, on behalf of myself, my fellow students, our educators, and our families, we thank you for being our champion. We thank you for your commitment to Cass Tech schools and for the commitment to the Cass Tech network.
Thank you, Mr. Hurd. I'm standing here with my principal, Dr. Melissa Akala, who is here to talk about the impact of our school's advisory board and how over 100 partners at each CAS school help extend our experiences beyond the 4 walls of our classroom.
Good evening again, parents and students, and I hope you feel lifted. When I first came to Cass Tech, I remember it was June the 5th, 2017. And I remember, I think I had 30-something days till school starts. And internally, that's daunting, I'm going to tell you, as a campus leader. However, I knew quickly that it could happen because of the level of industry support at this campus. I'd never seen anything like it before, with the number of people reaching out and asking what they can do to support our school and to meet with our teachers and to provide input about what is relevant and what is needed out in our community when our high school students graduate. So just a few examples of some of the things that have been happening specifically at Cass Tech, but I want you to know I'm aware of those, but there's other things going on at the other Cass schools that are just as meaningful and relevant. But specifically here at Cass Tech, we were grateful. One example is our faculty spending a day of professional development over at Frost when it was over at SeaWorld area, the headquarters over there. And our entire faculty was trained in the Agile methodology for project management. So that was a coaching piece for us because as professional educators, those are the kinds of trainings we do not necessarily get. But for us to be able to have that and use that in our craft, but also teach it to students to teach them about how to organize their workload and that this is what's done in industry, it helps give them a leg up. Secondly, another example is meeting with those in the cybersecurity technology fields and asking them about what do we need to be sure and incorporate in our school that would be meaningful and relevant for students and give them a leg up. And what we heard over and over was Linux. You need to use Linux. That is what the big Fortune 500 companies are using. You need to teach your students that, and that would be helpful. In addition to that, then we've gone to trainings. I've sent teachers to Red Hat conferences, which behind the scenes, for those of you that are not technology, that's a very expensive conference that usually educators don't go to. But we were able, through our partnership with San Antonio ISD as an 1882 school, to be able to send teachers to go to those kinds of conferences, to have that kind of real world business training and bring it back into the classroom, but then also work with our partners like at USAA, HEB, and some of the other places that actually use this skill to help coach us as well so that we can help the students here in this building. So those are just a couple of examples. And then the last one, you've heard of the user experience UI by now probably, but when that came about and we were learning about it, there was no such high school curriculum in the country. So that was about us once again meeting with our industry partners, and specifically for that one we worked with USAA and higher education to include UT Austin, who's creating a bachelor's degree now in user experience, to be sure that we're aligning to support with the Research One Institute, but also what is actually going on in some of these Fortune 500 companies so that we're really relevant in what we're doing. So those are just 3 examples from each of our pathways about how this partnership that these individuals have helped make happen and cultivate is making a difference for students, but also it's getting students future ready, and it should have a positive ripple effect beyond these classroom walls. So thank you, industry partners. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Dr. A. And now to introduce our next CAST champion is Berkeley Coles from CAST Lead High School.
Hello, my name is Berkeley Coles. I'm a current freshman at Cass Lead High School. Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolff is a visionary. He knew this model was going to revolutionize education in the San Antonio region. He joined the original launch and announced that he would build a bibliothèque on our campus that'll open soon. In addition to having 2 schools on this campus downtown, they have one at Brooks, one at the edge of Bexar County in Southwest ISD, and my school at Cass Lead in the East Central ISD. All schools are open to students across Bexar County region. Judge Wolff, as a champion for education in Bexar County, why did you see Cass schools as important to our regional economic development?
Well, thank you. And again, thanks to the Pedro and everybody else that's helped put this together. We're very excited about it. I've been out here, I guess, several times the last 4 years. In fact, just last week, I was right next door. We're in the process now of taking that 8,000 square foot building and building a bibliothèque there. The county, we started that about 5 years ago. In fact, Weston kicked it off for us and spoke at it. And now technology has exploded through a lot of the other libraries. But we wanted to get a digital library that would do a number of things. To be successful today, if you don't understand social media, if you don't understand technology, if you don't understand how to develop critical thinking, if you don't understand how to collaborate together and really do well in this world, it's going to be a very, very hard time for you. So we wanted to really work on those skills. All our staff is technology oriented. We have a registered librarian that's there. We have 200,000 books that you can be checking out. We've got music, we've got movies, we've got learning academies, we've got just about everything you could want on there. And when we open this, you'll have a maker's place where you'll have 3D printers, we have other things that you can build, circuits, etc. We'll have a robotics center that you'll be able to put together. Pretty large space for it, for robots. We're going to have a large community room. We've got study rooms. We've got a recording studio. It's our biggest one. And so what we wanted to do was build one for what we think is a first-class school that has the opportunity to change the direction which way we're going. Not only do you have Cass Tech here, you got Cass Med, you got Learning Academy. So we saw this as a perfect fit for 1,600 students, give or take, I think, between all three schools. And so we look forward to playing a role, look forward to being a partner with Cass Tech. We will finish our construction probably in November, December. And we want to be able to open it for the start of the school year that we start in January of next year. So we're glad to be a partner.
On behalf of my fellow students, educators, and families, thank you for being our champion. Thank you for your continuous support of the Cass schools across Bexar County.
Thank you, Judge Wolff. Please welcome Kaylee Castellano from the Advanced Learning Academy.
Is that my cue? All right. It's always good to know when to go on.
Good afternoon. My name is Kaylee Castellano, and I'm a junior at the Advanced Learning Academy. Hello, good afternoon. I'm Kaylee, and I'm a junior at the Advanced Learning Academy. Our next honoree is Mr. Graham Weston, one of the original founders of Rackspace and one of the chairmen of the 80/20 Foundation. Mr. Graham had a vision of creating an ecosystem downtown where we can work, live, and play in order to create a scene for the tech industry along with other industries. Mr. Graham, how do you see Cass schools transforming San Antonio into a place where we can work, live, and play?
Well, thank you. Just as David Hurd said earlier, there are a lot of really great jobs here in San Antonio, especially in the tech industry, but you have to be qualified for those jobs. So the first thing is, how can students end up leaving high school and ultimately going to college and end up with schools that are employable, that is immediately can take advantage of these great jobs? And there's so many great companies in town, like you mentioned earlier, that are producing jobs. Why do we need to be importing people from outside? I think the most important natural resource in our city is our people. I mean, a lot of times people ask me, why do I want to have people move to San Antonio? And I say, well, that's not really what I'm about at all. What we want to do is absolutely see that everyone who's already here, all the great students, can reach their potential with jobs that are created here. So they don't have to move away, right? If you have a really talented student in a certain field, often, if the job is not here, they have to move away. Now, in the world of Zoom, perhaps that's a little bit different. But if you want to work for Google and you have the skills, they may not let you stay here. That is, they're not going to hire you if you don't have the skills, right? They're not going to move here if you don't have the skills. So I think the Cass Tech to me is about giving students the skills to be able to thrive and get great jobs in the tech industry. The other thing is that what I love about Cass, the whole Cass system, but especially Cass Tech, it's extremely relevant. It means that you can learn things that you're interested in. Now, I know that to the academics in the audience, that may be a foreign thing, because all I remember is when I was in school, I found no relevance to what I was studying. So I'm sorry. I'm sure that doesn't happen today. But I'm so proud of Cass Tech, because what they're learning is what the students are interested in, and also what industry is looking for. So earlier, the idea of Linux was mentioned. Linux is essentially an operating system that most of the tech industry runs on. If you leave Cass Tech with Linux skills, you have almost instant employability, especially if you have the certification that they talked about earlier. So, long answer.
Mr. Weston, on behalf of students, educators, and families, thank you for being our champion, and thank you for your commitment and support to the Cass Schools Network.
Thank you, Graham Weston. Now please welcome Charles Massey from Cass STEM High School.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Charles Massey, and I'm a rising senior at Weston High School, located in Southwest ISD. So, Mr. Gallagher, you never missed a meeting when Cass Tech was being built. As Chief Information Officer for HEB, your time is valuable. So, why did you dedicate so much time to the creation of this flagship high school? And why is HEB such a committed supporter of Cass schools?
Thank you, and good to be here. And I want to congratulate all of the hosts. You've done a great job so far. Public speaking isn't everyone's favorite thing to do, so I'm impressed with everybody's quality so far. I'll give you a couple answers to the question. So I'll use some math, and you guys can figure out the numbers later. But I'm the Chief Information Officer at HEB, and in the last 15 years, the size of my department has tripled. And my whole department is about technology, whether it's product, user experience, design, or engineering. And in order to meet our needs, we need talent. So the concept of CAS and the concept of building a community that's going to have more employable people in the science field and the technology field makes my world easier, because you can hire people and you can build and grow. So that's the first part of the answer. The second part is, as a patriotic citizen, the United States needs to compete on a higher level. And so anything we can do here in San Antonio that will help other cities emulate would be a wonderful thing overall for the country and our competitive position. And then the last thing I'll say is the virtuous cycle. And the virtuous cycle is, as humans get jobs, they meet other humans and have families, and those families can get educated, and everybody needs to eat. And HEB loves when everybody needs to eat. So if we can create more people in our communities, it's a virtuous cycle to us, and so it makes sense for us overall. But super happy to be here and super proud of what's been accomplished in really the 5 years since all the planning and the empty shell of the building turned into a graduating class. So thank you very much.
Mr. Gallagher, on behalf of my fellow students, educators, and families, thank you for being our champion. Thank you for your commitment and support of the Cass Schools Network.
Thank you, Mr. Gallagher. And for our last CAS champion presentation, we have Sierra Maney from the Advanced Learning Academy.
Hello, hi, my name is Sierra Maney, and I'm a third grader at the Advanced Learning Academy. Miss Rogers, you've been with the Cass Schools since our beginning. As we celebrate the first graduating class of the Cass Tech High School, how does it feel to see the Cass Schools vision become a reality?
Thank you, Sierra. That is a very good question, and you did a great job of asking it. It's sort of surreal for me to be here tonight celebrating the first graduating class, because I remember when this whole thing was just an idea of maybe we could do something to improve career and technical education in San Antonio. And there was a group of us that included Gene Russell, that included David Marquez from the county, some of our business leaders, David Hurd, who studied the topic, the issue. We visited schools, sometimes all over the country, to sort of learn what was the best practice in this space. And we ended up here at Cass Tech and the founding of what is now a network of schools that we think are really changing our approach to high school, which you've heard a little bit about, which is incorporating really hands-on, work-based, experiential learning throughout the high school experience to increase the relevancy of what kiddos are learning in the classroom. So when we started the Cass Schools, I think the vision was to make sure that when students graduate high school, they have the maximum number of options open to them to make their dreams come true. So whether that be going on to 4-year school, 2-year college, or even going straight into the workforce, that they would be equipped and ready and prepared to tackle whatever that next step might be for them. The idea, when I think about the Cass Schools, what the word that comes to mind is partnership, because these schools weren't created to bring partners to the table. These schools were created, were co-created by the partners that you've heard from tonight. So everybody that you've heard from had a hand in designing the school, what it would look like, what it would feel like, what the experience would be like for students and teachers and so forth. And it's just amazing to see the first graduating class, coming out of this fabulous building, which took a long time to design and build. I just want to say a huge thank you to the students and their families who took a leap of faith in coming to this new school whose concept was still not well understood across the community, because the students and the families who are part of this first graduating class helped to make this school what it is. The students contributed every step of the way, came up with the ideas for new classes, new pathways, again, to really help make their dreams come true. So I think it really all starts with the students and the families. And then, of course, the fabulous principal, Melissa Alcala. No school, yeah. I think leadership in any space matters, but none more importantly than in a school. It sets the tone, it builds the culture, it makes it really work for all the folks who come into this building each and every day. And Melissa Alcala, we were so blessed and lucky to get her, and she has helped to grow this. And then I know the last person y'all are going to hear from tonight is the fearless executive director, Gene Russell, who has taken this concept, built it, blown it out of the water, made it into something that none of us really ever thought it could be. So I just kind of want to pinch myself to say, I can't believe we're here, and congratulations to each and every one of you.
Miss Roger, on behalf of my fellow students, teachers, and families, thank you for being our champion. Thank you for your commitment and your support of the Cass Schools Network.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers. The mission of the Cass Schools Network is to reinvent schooling in order to maximize options for students while preparing us for college, career, and life. Here to introduce our school leaders is the Executive Director of the Cass Schools Network, Gene Russell.
Everyone, thank you so much for being here. We're so thrilled. Like Kate said, we're all a little bit giddy and ready to pinch ourselves. The most important thing that you do when you start a school is you hire great people and you let them lead. And so tonight, everything you've heard tonight is really a testament to our great principals. And I just want to take a minute to introduce each and every one of them. So you've heard from the wonderful, inimitable Dr. Melissa Alcala. And next up, I'd like to introduce Dr. Wendy Fuller.
Thank you, Jean. I am the proud principal of Cass Lead High School. We are the baby of the Cass schools. We just finished with our first class of ninth graders. It was a challenging year, but they did an amazing job. And I'm honored to create the next generation of servant leaders. So wait and watch. I'd like to introduce Kathy Bexar from Advanced Learning Academy.
My name is Kathy Bexar, and I'm the principal of the Advanced Learning Academy. We are a pre-K through 12 school with 4th through 12th grade housed on this campus. So you can start with us as a 4-year-old, introduce a CAS champion when you're in 3rd grade, and then move on to high school and graduate with us over the course of 14 years. I want to just say thank you to all of our partners who are with us today for the fantastic collaboration that we've had and the opportunities that you've provided for our students. And at this time, I would like to introduce Dr. Eddie Rodriguez, principal and my colleague of CAST Med.
Thank you, Kathy. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Eddie Musquiz Rodriguez, principal of CAST Med High School. We're located at Brooks in the southeast side of the city. And our main theme is to get kids interested in the medical field. Anything having to do with biomedical science, if they want to be a doctor, nurse, pharmacist, anything in the medical field, even a records keeper, if that's their interest. We're currently recruiting, and nothing can be done unless we have our partners with us. So again, we're very, very happy and proud of the work that we're doing together with our advisory team, as well as all of the other principals and Jean and everyone else who comes in to help us. The other thing I want to mention, which I think is very important, is that our school really works with the community because we are a dual language school. Our students are taking Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, and Chemistry completely in Spanish. And we have formed amazing partnerships with Universidad de las Americas in Puebla, Mexico, as well as with other partners throughout the state of the country of Mexico. And we're excited about that because if you're going to be a doctor, a nurse, a pharmacist, or anything, especially here in the city of San Antonio or South Texas, you should be able to communicate well in Spanish. So we're seeking kids that are interested in learning the language as well. And again, thank you all for being here today. And actually the seniors, because I know it's been a very, very difficult year for all of us. But again, their hard commitment, the work of the parents, especially to get the kids to school, is really paying off. At this time, I'd like to introduce the academic dean for CAS STEM, who is Dr. Mario Duran. I believe he's here. Yes. Thank you so much.
So good afternoon, actually good evening, everyone. First of all, I just want to thank all the partners in the CASTEM network to dare to press the reset button on traditional education and daring to have this new vision of innovation and purpose and relevance to education that me as a product of Lanier High School back in 1993, I just did not have. And to see that there's a new vision out there and this new purpose to make education more meaningful and more direct. I think partners, I think you guys just having an opportunity to have a more direct impact on our students is so important that your impact partners to our students is much more greater than what you think. Our students go home and talk to their parents and their families about things and opportunities that they have that they would have never thought possible. And yet they have these conversations, and it's meaningful conversations that they're having, that their lives are changing from an early age. And as a campus leader, that brings us the passion that we have to pursue the CAS network philosophy and purpose of just giving these students an opportunity to become future leaders of San Antonio, Texas. And so on behalf of our campus principals, Ms. Rebay Schaefer and myself, we thank you partners for daring to press the reset button. And we hope to continue the drive of the CAS network and continue to be a part of the lives of our students, because in the end, it's all about our students and it's all about the future of them. And they have so much to give to us that we just have to give them an opportunity to be creative, and they will blow our minds away. And so thank you so much for all that you guys have done.
We're so proud of all of our students. We're so grateful for all of our partners, and we are so grateful for all of our families. This is something we do together in partnership, and we are so fortunate to have this commitment from each and every one of you. We all believe in our young people together. So thank you.
Across all our CAS schools and all our classrooms are countless individuals who volunteer to believe, confidence, and hope within us, the students. Our hope is that the many who contribute realize that this is a partnership where everyone's contributions are valued and make a tremendous impact on us. Thank you. We are CAST.